Is that she died, man?
Oh, yes, brother.
Okay, how so? How is that so?
I mean, go, boy. Go. Go out there. I said go. Shit. I don't even think you need shoulder pads. I don't think you need I'm dropping my son off at football practice, brother.
Oh, I see. I understand. No problem. Yeah, brother. From the brothers. Brother Incorporated. Brother, tell me something. Why is it that, she died is your reaction, man? I thought, you had the same faith as her. You and her share the same faith.
Why would I? I mean, they worship her like she's a god. And, the book that I read said that you should put no other gods before you. No other gods before him, So why would I care about a queen dying if she godfied herself?
And what do you mean by that? How does she godify herself?
She what is it? Did the tea? I mean, they put her in a position that they assaulted her above all other people. Like she was a dummy god or something.
A dummy god. But what do you, isn't there more, people will do that practically with anybody, right?
Yeah, why should I care if she's living or dead? She wasn't my queen, she wasn't my relative. She wasn't Abdul Fattah. If Abdul Fattah died, I'd be crying, man, for 3 days.
Man, tell me about the fact, what I'm getting, here's what I don't understand. What I don't understand is that a lot of people do not realize that the monarchy was the biggest exploiter of human trafficking. The biggest exploiters of Africa and Asia and everywhere in the world, these monarchies. So I don't know when they're going to repay, the resources that they robbed from Africa, man, that they robbed from Asia, that they robbed from the ones that they robbed from America.
Right.
Now, when is America going to pay America back, man? You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
I don't know, man. I don't think people realize that the British Empire was the chief among the enslaved. They was the ones who colonized everybody that made them forced to be in the British Empire. You know what I mean?
Yeah, colonization.
And then they tell them, okay, you free, but you got to be in the Commonwealth of Nations. And then it's like, hold up. Then you get your independence from the Then you have to pay for your independence from the Commonwealth of Nations. Like India did. I was like, great, hey, India actually paid for their freedom. Yeah,
you have to pay for the independence, and you have to make it up to them in whatever means that they say.
Right.
And that it's just strange that that's the longest monarch alive. She was actually the longest royalist or royal family member on the throne than anybody in the.
The second.
Oh, the second.
Yeah.
Who was the longest one?
She ruled for 70 years.
Right.
And there was another guy that ruled for 72 years.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
So he was back in
Louis the 13th or something
like
14th.
that. Oh, okay. Louis the 12th or 13th. Okay.
Yeah.
So he ruled for 72 years and she ruled. But 2 years difference. But in modern day, that's a long time. All the modern day monarchs, she's ruled longer than them. No exceptions. No exceptions.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I'm wondering if Allah Ta'ala wants to, show us something here. This is the beginning of the end of these monarchs, man. Exploitation itself is, it's a crime, man. Why are you going to exploit another human being?
Well, technically, she was supposed to be the end of the monarchs. But then she strengthened it up after her father. You know what's funny? That she never was supposed to be queen. You know that, right?
Is it?
No, she wasn't supposed to be queen because her father wasn't supposed to be king. Her father wasn't the oldest. Her uncle, he renounced the throne, which made her father the king. And not only did he renounce the throne, but he renounced the throne for him and his descendants. So therefore, when he did that, he allowed his brother to take over as king, and so Queen Elizabeth, her father, was actually the king. Then she became queen because of her father. But her father's brother was supposed to be the king.
Okay.
Yeah. Look that up. I did a paper on that in '93 when I was in college. That would trip me out because she was the queen who was never supposed to be queen. Yeah, it was her uncle, not her father.
Was that's not the one who ruled for 100-something? I mean, for 72 years, is it?
No, her uncle ruled for probably her uncle ruled for not even a year. So I think her grandfather, Henry the fourth, I think he ruled, and he died in January. I think he died in January. Don't get me wrong, but I think he died in January of 1936. So her uncle became king in January of 36, and then he was king all the way to December of 1936 because it was a whole a socialite from New York or America that he fell in love with, and they was like, no, you can't marry her because she was divorced a couple of times or whatever. And he was like, well, fuck you, I denounced my throne, and went and married the chick and whatnot. So when he did that, that's what her brother, which is Henry the Fifth, that's when he took over the throne. And then he died in, I believe, 52. And in 1952, that's when she became the queen. Yeah, 70 years later. And now Charles changed his name from Princess Charles. Now he's to be known as King Charles III.
King Charles III?
Yeah.
Seriously?
That's his name now, King Charles III.
Unbelievable, man.
Yeah, so it's like, I mean, but now they asking, is he just going to be a figurehead or is he going to be an actual, is he just going to be a figurehead or is he going to be an actual...
He's going to be what he's always been. He's going to be drinking. That's a drunk.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's about 74, 75.
No, he's going to be drinking. That's his thing. That brandy and stuff.
Listen. All of them drink, dude. But he about 74, 75 years old. He ain't got too many tomorrows, you know what I mean? So his son going to end up being king before I die, I
don't know. I mean, I wouldn't... I don't hold and hope never to hold, the intent of anyone dying. But that lady, man, I'm telling you, man, it was just something about her, man. I was like, man, this lady here, man, I mean, they exploited all of my ancestors. I mean, they are living in palaces and not paying any taxes or whatever it is. And brother man still haven't gotten his compensation from his great-grandparents, the 40 acres and a mule. I want my money. And I want it for all my grandparents, man. I want all my grandparents' money, man. Everybody who was supposed to get that, I'm claiming it on their behalf too.
No, you got to look at that. See, you got to know your history. You got to read that. The 40 acres and the mule wasn't promised to everybody. It wasn't promised to every slave. The slave actually had to leave the master's land. and go claim that 40 acres in the mule. But a lot of them stayed where they was at. They didn't do it because they didn't believe it was true. But the ones who did it down in South Carolina, the Gula Gula Islands, they actually went there and they claimed they 40 acres in the mule. And to this day, ever since slavery, they have the largest African American.
Hey, listen, man. Okay, let me be plain about it. Okay, our ancestors were exploited for free labor for over 400 years. All right, and
Yeah,
at building.
when they freed them, they were so indoctrinated.
Listen, you might have freed, whoever from getting whooped, but you did not free the society of being enslaved mentally anyway. All we want to know is, where is the reparation for this atrocity, which is the greatest crime against humanity in human history? Okay? Where is the compensation for that? That's what we want to know. Forget, you talking to me about acres in a mule, never mind. I don't want the mule. I drive a Tesla these days. Teslas are being driven, okay? So just pay for the dues. My ancestors worked around and built this economy that you are benefiting from. Where is the money?
Listen, I don't want a dime from nobody. I just want what do me.
I mean, who's talking about dying? We just talking about getting our money. For all that free labor, our ancestors worked on the economy like that for 400 years, man. Where is the money?
Right. Brother, the El Quran says that if a brother worked, he should be paid by the time the sweat on his brow dries.
Okay, so you have the ayah of the ayah of the Al Quran where the Al Quran said that?
Isn't that what it says?
You said it. This is your quote, so you must really know the Al Quran. So where does it say that?
You're a hadith, man. You know more than me.
Hey, man, so why are you quoting stuff that you think that I know more than you about, man? I mean,
you know what it takes.
Listen, man, I don't know. I don't know why you thought I would think that was in the Quran somewhere, man. I didn't know. But all I know is they got to pay.
Isn't that hadith?
Listen, man.
Isn't that hadith?
We want the money for every black African American indigenous that had ancestors who underwent that type of atrocity, man. It's that simple, man. So just tell your people that's the deal.
No, brother, you cannot say that, brother. For the simple fact, my brother, you cannot say that because you are Muslim, brother. And being that you are Muslim, brother, you cannot discriminate against any person because you got to love all man and humanity.
Listen, man, I didn't say I didn't love all man and humanity, man. All I said is the fact that they need to pay for the repercussions and they need to go ahead and settle that with people whom are the descendants of slaves. And that's including you and me, man. What are you talking about, man? We're trying to get some money over here, man.
Man, I don't know, brother. I don't want nobody to get.
Listen, man, your ancestors worked on those plantations for all those decades, absolutely building the economy of this society, and you're going to get yourself together and make sure that you're paid for it. That's it. Goodness, man. I mean, what is it going to take for us black people to wake up and realize that we definitely are owed the sweat and black and the sweat on the back of our forefathers and the tears in which they suffered in building this economy, man? That's what I want to know. Hello?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Why are you being quiet, man? What's the problem, man? You don't think we're in our right to demand for repercussions? Or retributions, man? You don't think we're in that predicament?
Nope.
Why not?
Because I don't.
Yo, man.
I don't agree with that.
All right.
I feel a man.
Do you agree with the fact that our ancestors were enslaved and were taking away all forms of human rights? Do you agree with that? Do you agree? Do you agree? Do you agree with the fact that they robbed and raped and took and away the culture of the identity of a people? Do you agree with that?
They did that.
Okay, so now that's what we're saying. Now, and we feel that damages are necessary because it has psychologically, morally, and emotionally destroyed our people's identity, and that's a big charge, man. That's the biggest one.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to take that one all the way to the United Nations, man.
That's right. Listen, brother. Listen.
I gotta go, man. You're a funny dude, man. You scared? You are a scared brother.
Just listen to this, brother. Just listen to this. And if I'm wrong, brother. But you will correct me, brother.
What is this,
brother? The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Give to the workers his wages before the sweat dries." Ibn Marah, Al-Arah, 785.
What?
El-Fatah, 8316.
What are you quoting? I don't know what you're quoting. I don't understand. I hear something that you said the Prophet said. Neither you nor me were living in the time of Prophet. And what are you saying about these numbers?
That's what he said. This is.
What do the numbers have to do with it? I don't understand.
Give the worker his wages before his sweat dries.
Okay, where are you finding this?
Where? Bin Marah,
who?
443.
Is this the name of the book?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah.
What's the name of the book?
Sunan Ibn Majah.
Majah, maybe?
Majah.
All right. So how are you going to use this hadith? I mean, I know you got it from Sunan Ibn Majah. So how you want to use it now? Tell me.
Isn't that what it says?
No. So tell me how you want to use it. Now it's time to use what you just said. How do you use it? How do you put it into practice?
It says, give the worker his wages before his sweat dries.
Okay. So how is that relevant?
How could we get paid for work that we didn't do?
Okay,
that was our ancestors that did it, not us.
Okay, so you're basically using the hadith and saying that the content of this hadith is that you should not get paid for something that you did not work for, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Number one, that would be a different case if you understood the entire circumstances of the hadith, but we're going to put that aside. But the next thing is that we are asking for the retributions of a crime that was a committed crime upon us by those who are benefiting from what it is that they built, that were never compensated for it. It is that simple.
How could we be compensated for somebody else's labor?
Again, not necessarily are we just talking about the fact that this labor established the economy, which the economy is clearly very well and alive, but it was a crime that was definitely committed in the process that smaller crimes have already been compensated for. For example, the neo-Nazi or whatever situation, the state of Israel is being compensated for that stuff. That was not what we dealt with. We dealt with something that was worse than that. So we were asking for compensation too. People have every right to ask and to open a national dialogue and conversation about what it is that we want. We want a compensation for this crime that was committed upon our people. Yes, we have every right. Well, brother, let me go, man. I got to get some chicken.
No, man. That's the stuff, man. That's